3 million Americans woke up this morning not knowing if today is the day they lose their home. Not because of a mortgage, not because of a lease, because the ground beneath their wheels, ground they don't own, could be taken back at any moment. And right now, across this country, it is being taken back. Fast. This isn't a story about people choosing to live in RVs for fun. This is a story about what happens when the American housing market gets so broken that millions of people retreat into trailers, motorhomes, and converted vans, and then discover that even that escape hatch is being slammed shut. In 2020, RV sales exploded. Over 600,000 units shipped in a single year, the highest number ever recorded in American history. Parks filled up overnight. Waiting lists stretched for months. People were buying rigs they'd never driven to park and lots they'd never seen. It felt like freedom. It felt like a solution. It wasn't either. Because here's what nobody told those 3 million people. They don't own the land. They never did. They own the box. Someone else owns the ground. And that someone else, private equity firms, real estate investment trusts, and billion-dollar corporations, is done being patient. So here's the question nobody in the RV industry wants to answer. When the land disappears, where do 3 million people go? We'll get to that. But first, you need to understand how this happened. Because this wasn't an accident. This was a slow-motion collision that everyone saw coming and nobody stopped. Go back to 2008. The housing crash wiped out millions of Americans. Equity gone. Credit destroyed. The dream of homeownership pushed back a decade, maybe forever. Then came the recovery, but it wasn't a recovery for everyone. Rents climbed. Home prices climbed faster. Wages didn't climb at all. By the mid-2010s, a growing number of Americans were doing the math and realizing the math didn't work. A one-bedroom apartment in a mid-sized city, $1,400 a month. A space in an RV park, $600. The choice started making sense. Then 2020 hit, and everything accelerated at once. Remote work untethered people from their offices. The pandemic made cities feel like traps. Social media turned van life and full-time RV, living into an aesthetic, a movement, a personality. YouTube channels with millions of subscribers showed beautiful couples cooking meals in mountain meadows, laptops glowing at golden hour. It looked like freedom. It looked affordable. It looked like the answer to everything that was wrong with modern American life. And so people bought in. Literally. RV manufacturers couldn't keep up. Dealers were marking units up $20,000, $30,000 over MSRP, and people were still buying. Thor Industries, the largest RV manufacturer in the world, reported record revenues. Camping World stock tripled. Private equity started paying attention. That's when the ground started moving. Between 2020 and 2023, private equity firms and real estate investment trusts acquired over 200 independent RV parks and manufactured housing communities across the United States. Sun Communities, Equity Lifestyle Properties. Hometown America. These aren't mom-and-pop campground operators. These are corporations managing billions in assets, answerable to shareholders, optimizing for returns. And the way you optimize returns in an RV park is simple. Raise lot rents, reduce services, and wait for the land to be worth more than the park. The average lot rent at a corporate-owned RV park jumped 34% between 2020 and 2024. In some markets, coastal California, Florida, the Southwest, it doubled. People who moved into parks to escape the housing market found themselves paying $1,100, $1,400, $1,600 a month just for the ground their home sat on. Not the home, the ground. And if you don't like it, if you push back, if you organize with your neighbors, if you complain to management, the answer is always the same. You have 30 days. Move your home or lose your space. Except here's the thing nobody tells you when you buy an RV or a manufactured home. Moving it isn't simple. A park model unit, Those larger, more permanent manufactured homes you see in residential RV communities can cost $5,000 to $15,000 to transport. And most of them were never designed to be moved twice. The frame warps, the axles fail. The home that was worth $80,000 when it was parked becomes worth $8,000 or nothing the moment it needs to move. So people are trapped, paying rents they can't afford, in homes they can't move, on land they'll never own. And the companies holding that land know exactly what they have. The ground is shifting, not metaphorically, literally. The spaces where 3 million Americans live are being sold, redeveloped, repriced, and erased. And somewhere in a corporate boardroom right now, someone is looking at a map of RV communities along a waterfront or near a new highway interchange or adjacent to an industrial corridor, and they're running the numbers, not on the people living there, on the land. The question isn't whether this system will break. The question is how many people are still inside it when it does.